FM, and good morning to you. Thanks so much for being with us here today. His name is David Gray. He is from the DuBois Veterans Center and a Veterans Providers Group member. And, well, let's meet him this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me today.
It's good to have you here in the studio. Now, explain the connection. DuBois isn't exactly next door to Indiana, but it is one interconnected, woven group, isn't it?
It really is. The DuBois Vet Center, every vet center across the country, which there's over 300 vet centers, and there's 11 vet centers here in the state of Pennsylvania. So our area, our office is in DuBois, but we cover 12 counties. So we go from McKean County down to Blair, Center County to Clarion County, and all those counties in between there. And we operate access points. So in McKean County, we've got 2. Center County, we've got 1. In Blair County, we have another outstation, if you will. And our counterpart down there in the White Oak Vet Center, they have an outstation actually here in town. Mm-hmm. So the connection is the office is in DuBois, and a lot of people kind of say, well, do I have to go to DuBois to get counseling? No, you do not. So when it comes to vet centers and welcoming home veterans, it's all about decreasing barriers to care. So vet centers are community-based counseling centers that provide a wide range of counseling, outreach, and referral services to eligible veterans, active duty service members, and their families. Vet center staff guide eligible men and women through the various challenges that often occur after an individual returns from deployment or exposure to other traumatic situations. Services for eligible individuals include individual, group, marriage, family counseling for challenges such as symptoms associated with post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, suicidal or homicidal ideations, and socioeconomic issues. Counseling and referral are also provided for those that experience a sexual trauma while in the military or inactive training status. Vet centers also provide connection to other VA and community resources. Vet center services are provided to family members of veterans and service members for military-related concerns when it is found to aid in the readjustment of those who served. This includes bereavement counseling for families who have experienced an active duty death. So the vet centers have been around since 1979. Mm-hmm. And initially they were only authorized to see Vietnam veterans.
Okay.
It was an effort to kind of help those folks coming back from Vietnam readjust to civilian society. And then over the years, there's more and more wars, conflicts. 83 you had Urgent Fury, 89 Just Cause, Desert Shield, Desert Storm, and in the current global war on terrorism. Yeah. So we are now authorized to see combat veterans and their families from World War II up to the current global war on terrorism and its related operations.
I think it's a pretty important distinction to make as well that, we might think, okay, people who are young and involved and have just exited their military service. Number one, it's active. Number two, it's ongoing and can go back very many decades to very many different conflicts overseas. And we might think, okay, someone comes to you for counseling, you handle it, they're fixed, and we send them back out into society. Sometimes that fix takes a lot more than just a couple of visits or even a couple of years worth of services.
Absolutely. It is veteran-centric, and it is based on the veterans, their experience, and how they progress through the counseling. Mm-hmm. Some veterans may be just that one time, I need to come in and talk to someone, get some resources maybe, and then they're okay. Other ones have continue to be in counseling, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have a timeline when the need or the desire to talk to someone hits you. We approximately once or twice a month we will get phone calls from Vietnam veterans who have now reached a point in their life when they want to talk to someone. Yeah. So it really doesn't have any sort of set boundaries when it comes to getting that help.
Yeah, so that NASCAR fix that we think where they're just pulling into the pit stop, you open the hood, you fix what's broken, then send them back out and they're good to go.
Right.
It would be nice, but it's not really the reality that you deal with. You mentioned a couple of very serious issues that are being dealt with and that we hear about very, very often. Suicide, substance abuse, PTSD. Those are more than just words. They are very, very pointed and individualistic issues that must be dealt with, and each vet has his or her own set of circumstances that led them to the point at which they are. And I would guess that as a Veterans Center, one of the things that your counseling is able to do is to help them identify what those issues are, and then from that you can develop a plan. Would I be correct in putting it that way?
Absolutely, yes. The counselors, they're veterans themselves. The majority of the counselors that work for the Readjustment Counseling Service, which is a component of the VA, are veterans themselves. In our office, as an example, we have got 3 counselors. All 3 of those are veterans. 2 of those are combat veterans. So when that veteran who wants that legitimacy of talking to someone who has been there, when you're making that connection with the veteran to address their particular barriers, it helps to sometimes have that connection. But what the counselors do is then they work with the veteran and say, how are we going to, what would you like to achieve? And then they come up with a plan, and they meet regularly. And depending on how that progress goes, they meet more than once a month. Sometimes it's less than once a month. But it's all centered on how the veteran wants to proceed.
I know the outreach to veterans is extensive, and that you try to reach them all and to let them know what services are available. But there still may be some folks out there who say, I was in Vietnam. I was, my conflict wasn't so great because I went to Grenada, or whatever it happens to be. Everybody has their own issues in life. Everybody has to deal with things that have happened in their past. For that guy or gal who is sitting at home right now and maybe not even realizing that some of the issues they have going on in their life are related to that service so many years ago, and they're here in Indiana County and they're hearing you this morning, what will you say to them? How do they best avail themselves of your services?
We are available through a couple different avenues. One is going to be the phone number. It's 814-372-2095, and that is directly to our office. And if a veteran calls, we will, get them connected with a counselor, and that counseling process would start. And if there's other barriers that are involved in that process, the counselors are equipped to help that veteran address whatever it is. There's other VA entities that we are connected with when it comes to employment, housing, things like that. The other one is the website. It's www.vetcenter.va.gov, and you go to that website. You can click on the state. It'll list every vet center here in the state of Pennsylvania, and its contact information. What I would like to convey to those veterans is, especially here in Indiana County, when I retired from active duty, Indiana PA became home for me. I spent my last 2 years on active duty as the senior military instructor at IUP for the ROTC department. So I find that my efforts here are more connected, just a little bit more connected, because I live here, originally from Allegheny County, but Indiana PA has been home for me for a number of years now. So I would just ask that those veterans that are listening give us a chance to try to help you address whatever it is that you are experiencing and remove those barriers or manage those barriers to an acceptable level.
Yeah. There are so many people out there that probably have the idea of what the resources might be, but they just never tapped into them.
Absolutely. And that's what I like about being a part of the Veterans Provider Group is it's a collaborative group that we're trying to address those barriers here in Indiana as much as humanly possible. I get to go to all the other counties and do the very same thing that I'm doing here to try to reach those veterans and let them know what services are available for them. I really enjoy what I do. I can't say that enough. I love what I do because I get to go out on a daily basis and find and engage veterans, talk to agencies that provide services to veterans, or those businesses, agencies that have veterans working for them to say, hey, this is something that's available for them.
Yeah, I would guess that would be extremely important too. That aspect of your job is working with the people who have daily contact with veterans and either need to understand deeper what some of the issues are that they're dealing with, or just might be someone who has a service that they could offer to a vet that maybe they don't even realize is there.
Now, there was a couple other special populations of veterans that we provide to that I'll get to touch on real quick. Any veteran who served as a drone operator, who may not have left the confines of the continental United States, we provide that readjustment counseling to that individual. any veteran who provided direct emergent care for wounded service members coming out of a combat theater. Those two specialty populations are kind of key. And then any veteran that served in a peacekeeping operations, such as Bosnia or Kosovo or Jordan as an example. I spoke to the Indiana Guard unit here in town sometime last year, and a lot of those folks who just got back from Jordan. So I made it a point to make sure I'm going to talk to those individuals as well.
David Gray is with us this morning. He's with the DuBois Vet Center, but he is right here in Indiana County as a member of the Veterans Providers Group. Thanks for being with us, and if you would, one more time, give the contact information for folks who want to get in touch with you.
Yes, sir. It's 814-372-2095. That's to our office in DuBois. The Combat Call Center or the Vet Center Call Center is 1-877-WAR-VETS. That is located in Colorado, and that's also staffed by veterans. Or the website is www.vetcenter.va.gov.
Very good. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS, AM 1160, 101.1 FM.